As if no problems ever occurred. There is the Thresh we talked about. There is the red side.
Wow.
Hecarim is off the table.
That was actually a pick I thought Kikis might have played.
Well, the unicorn is taken away from the unicorns, and the bear pig machine of war is taken away. This is a different pick and ban phase.
Yes.
We might see it at Lee Sin and Jarvan.
Right.
I'm almost sad.
It's not the weirdest pick and ban phase we've seen today. I mean, we have seen a Renekton being banned instead of a Gnar against Freddy, so I can't even say I'm too surprised, but a lot of target bans here. Remember, Visicharge, he actually played Hecarim top lane at IM San Jose, so could be a ban against both him and Kikis, of course, on the sides of Unicorns of Love. But a lot of target picks or bans. Gnar is left open, 2 support bans from Gambit as well onto Hylissang here. I don't think Edward wants to first pick his own support though. Probably gonna go for the likes of an Annie if he can.
Look at this again, first pick Kassadin. Gambit once again showing that Kassadin is a relevant champion that is, hell, in Europe, he's first pick worthy 2 games in a row. It worked for Fox and SK Gaming previously. Let's see what Nick/Cabashard can do with it, because again, it is that sort of flex pick, depending on where you want to run it.
It is definitely a flex pick, which
but does Chachi get Gnar?
It is the main reason for teams first picking it here in Europe, because it is a flex pick where if you take a Gnar, you know it's going to the top lane and you can kind of try and build around it. Gnar is a very strong laner, but he does have some matchups which can deal with him and then kind of outplay him in terms of the pressure you can apply on the map in the early to mid game. But now he's coming in here, Visicharge, he will be happy. Kick is getting Jarvan as well. Such a solid combo. We've seen it time and time again today. It just works in team fights. You have a very tanky front line. You have engaged. You have so much CC being brought to the table by just these 2 first picks. And you don't actually tell too much because they're very standard picks.
Yeah, you're now 3 for 3 on the Gnar Jarvan combo. And this is something that teams, you've got to question. Is Gnar worth letting through?
I don't think it is.
Considering they banned Hecarim. I mean, you've taken Thresh off the table. Surely, Gnar is a bigger threat than a Thresh. This game's going to find out.
I think Gnar really deserves to be a permanent ban. He's too strong all around. Even if you camp him early in the late game team fights as full tank, he's still so strong, and that's why you have to ban him away. Graves was left open. Pinoy managed to get it, together with the Annie pickup we talked about just before for Edward here with the 2 support bans. Such an explosive bottom lane. All-in potential at level 6. And I quite like it, especially because if you look at Unicorns of Love, we don't really talk about the bottom lane being too strong. Hylissang, again, he needs to get the Thresh pickup. That's banned away. So getting a Graves and Annie that can completely snowball a lane is actually very smart by Gambit.
Well, we'll see if they can make that happen. The duo lane for the Unicorns of Love has been locked in. Vardags will be playing Siva, while Hylissang will be playing Leona. You talked about aggression from Gambit. Unicorns say, hey, we'll match that. We think we can do it too.
Yeah, full-on engage from Unicorns of Love. You have a strong team fight. You even have pick potential through the Leona and, of course, the Jarvan with their engage they can do. And both supports here. They're not going to peel for the 80 carry. They're not going to try and disengage. No, it's all in, both teams so far.
And this comp that Unicorns is putting together is not quite the same level of H2K when it comes to low amounts of damage. Because Gnar and Jarvan are going to be adding their bits and pieces on the side, but there's a lot of pressure now on this.
Is it going to be jungle in Italy?
Oh, let's not get too excited. We're talking about, we don't like to talk about hovers, Deficio. Wait for it to get locked in. Going to give it a few more seconds. Let's keep talking. Unicorns, what are they going to put in the mid lane? There are still a bunch of assassins available if Power of Evil wants to go that route. This is why we don't talk hovers, Deficio. Lee Sin and Cassiopeia locked in for Gambit.
So Cassio, once again, they played in both the lanes, so it's another flex pick. Unicorns of Love doesn't really know what's going to happen in terms of the laning or the solo laners just yet here. LeBlanc would be an option if it wasn't for the Kassadin. We don't want to see that matchup again, even though it's one of the best champions for Power of Evil. Orianna would be the safe bet. But Cassio will be able to just have such a free lane against Orianna. Wow. She can't shut down either Kassadin or a Cassiopeia.
Sheepy in the back, finally sharing his input. Been watching him this last minute. Not really chiming in too much. That is, of course, the coach for the Unicorns of Love. Gonna hover down those last few seconds. Let's wait to see what happens. If Syndra gets locked in, it's surprising because she took a very big hit to her laning damage. And it is locked in. Power of Evil going for the comfort pick. Power of Evil, just to quickly tell you a story, is one of the best Syndra players in Challenger and LCS. Touted for being one of the most accurate with the scat of the week.
Yeah, so Syndra here changes in 4.1, lost quite a lot of damage early game on her Q. And also her stun now, her E, is a lot harder to hit. A smaller hitbox. We're going to have to see what he can do. I feel like, again, it's just him saying, I don't know if I'm going to be against Kassadin or Casio here, so I'm just going to take a comfort safe pick. But if he can actually shut down Nick on this Kassadin in the laning phase with the loss of his damage on Q early on, I'm not too sure about that one.
Right, we'll see how it works out. On the side of Unicorns of Love, they have got so much CC. If Gambit ever get grouped up, there are multiple champions for the Unicorns that can stun up multiple members of Gambit.
Yeah, that's where the Casio pick here in the top lane for Capuchat can be fairly risky because she's an immobile champion. Leona can engage on to her, Jarvan can engage to her, and then you just blow her up instantly as long as you keep her stunned so she can use her ulti, which is going to be the main disengage part from Gambit in this lineup here. Otherwise, the rest, any support from Eddie. We know he wants to go in and engage here. You have the Graves. We know Pinoy plays extremely aggressive. Like, he's not afraid to flash in, dash into your face. So there's a lot of all-in potential from Gambit, but you have that one top lane pick as your only sort of disengage.
Yeah, Crepo said it earlier. Pinoy on Graves. If anyone goes ham, he calls it going a Pinoy. We'll see if we can do it again here in their first match. Gambit against Unicorns of Love. No super exciting picks that we were anticipating or expecting. Jump on Twitter. Tell us who you guys think is going to be victorious at LOL Esports. Use that hashtag GMB win or hashtag UOL win. We are in game for the final match of day one of the spring split. It is Gambit against Unicorns of Love. It is all the hype from the off-season coming to do battle against one another, and we'll see who comes out on top.
And we're going to have to see what Unicorns of Love wants to do in this mid-game, where their comp has a very big power spike through Syndra, of course, getting 1 or 2 items completed. Gnar, when he becomes so scary and he has a lot of damage still before he goes full late game, where he becomes more of just a tank with a lot of CC, because Gambit, we know they scale into late game really well here. Casio is going to stack up her poison. Kassadin, of course, as always. We don't have to talk about it. Graves even a fairly decent late game AD carry. So a lot of scaling for Gambit on their side, which will need a bit of time to build up, where Unicorns of Love can make the aggressive plays early on.
Very, very excited to see how Unicorns make those aggressive plays, because they've got all of the tools available to them and fairly standard defensive starts from both.
Yeah, and funny enough, again, like every single game we've seen today, except for maybe the first one, both comps are really looking towards just like hard engage, bursty team fights, where whoever gets the first damage or the first ulti off can just get an instant pick, win the team fight, take an objective from it. We haven't seen a lot of like old school siege comp. We haven't seen any really passive comps. It's a lot of all-in from every single team in the ULCS.
Did you watch Copenhagen Wolves H2K? To be fair, it was 2 team fight comps. But yes, you're 100% right. They have been all about the engages. They have been all about going toe-to-toe with one another. And it looks like we're going to see those head-to-head lane matches. Eddie is trying to play a little bit of shenanigans on the Grump. Can he steal it? That's the question. Gonna go forward. Auto attack, not gonna be secured. Bardex gets it. Scumbag Eddie, not so scumbag after all.
We will get some solo lane XP for Pinoy down here, so he should actually get a fairly early level 2 on his side. And now obviously Hillersan, once he gets 2 more minions down, should be hitting that level 2. Sorry, 3 more minions down. Should be getting that level 2 for both him and Bardex.
Well, let's see if he can make those flashy collateral damage plays like he did in Cologne. Pinoy on Graves once again. He's able to 1v1 double lift a couple times, so no pressure, buddy.
Only 7 times.
See if you can live up to the same level of performance. And it's going to be a very, very aggressive lane matchup. I'm interested to see how Hillisang plays as well, considering that he's going to have that option to go all in on Eddie.
Very surprised they actually didn't all in. So you take the Grump here, you get early level 2 on Leona. You have to just go straight for the all in. There was level 1 on Edward, level 1 on Pinoy at that time. And they just stayed back, played it very passive. But we've seen this before from the bottom lane, because Unicorns of Love is all about kickies, and the solo lane is making the plays. The bottom lane often just play a little bit too passive and just sit and farm and farm and farm and try and be strong in team fights. But right here, they lost a golden opportunity of going all in with Leona.
Well, I'll have to see if they can make that one count for them. We do catch a brief sight of the top lane. Cabochard trying to put some hurt down onto Chachi. Not really affecting him CS-wise, but we'll have to see how well Vizichachi can keep his sustain up, keep his hit points up, while simultaneously farming.
And this is one of the picks that can do really well against Gnar early on, because you out-damage him, you force him away, and we keep seeing this matchup here, going like this, where Cabochard will constantly move forward, forced Visitachi to back away and just try and farm with Boomerang. Also why Diamond showed himself on the top side in case Kikis came for an early gank. Diamond would have been there to counter gank it and actually didn't go back and upgrade his Hunter's Machete early, so he's going to fall behind in gold now compared to Kikis, who did their 3 camps, went back to base, upgrade early, so get a 30 gold from every camp now. That's going to be, could be a little problem for Diamond. He's going back now, though.
Well, we'll see how it affects him in terms of the total gold. Just a couple of camps. 5 CS at the moment. Chachi under tower, taking so much damage from Cabochard.
But look what Diamond is doing here. Skirmishes Saber. I haven't seen that on Lee Sin ever, actually. But it will allow me to get the true damage for a few seconds. And, oh, this charge is dropping very low here, but at the same time get the 20% damage reduction onto his target. Kikis onto the mid lane. Want to try and shut down Nyx.
Oh, let's see. There's the slide. There's the glide. Nyx gets caught and he gets sent back. It's not over yet. Pinoy gets stunned up. Vardax in return stunned by Edward. They trade damage back and forth, and Hylissang is the one that comes away worse for wear. First blood secured by the Unicorns of Love. In that middle lane for a very, very good dive. Oh, Pinoy caught once again. Vardax goes in. Vardax is going to get caught out. We do see Hylissang continues to push. Ignite's ticking. The minion auto attack is not enough. And Pinoy manages to walk away. That was so, so close.
Yeah, now Unicorns are playing aggressive in the bottom lane. When as soon as they knew where Diamond was on the map, went for the all-in from Hylissang here. But in the mid lane, getting an early kill on Kassadin. Rocket tried in the last game. It didn't work for them. Unicorns are they show how it's done.
We'll see how that works out for them. Sides, Diamond and Kikis now trading back and forth. The slide, the glide, Diamond sent flying. Kikis and Diamond continue to bash away at one another. It's Diamond that's winning. Let's see what he can do with the Sonic Wave. Gets flashed by Kikis, but Summon Spell blown.
But this is why Diamond is buying Skirmishes Saber. It's purely just for like the one-on-one, the skirmish he can do. Land that smite, get the 20% damage reduction on whoever he smites. And then he can stay around and force them to back away. Didn't sadly have smite for the last trade with Kikis.
But he's going to have it for Chachi if he decides to go in. Let's see how quick he can respond. Diamond decides to back away instead.
This Chachi is getting his mega now. You don't really want to go for him there, so wisely enough. But a lot of focus on the top lane. Gambit Gaming knowing that Cabochard would be an easy target because he will push the lane over and over. And just making sure he has a very safe laning phase with Diamond there.
Now, we did say both of these teams have a lot of fans coming into this game, but I did not think the Unicorns of Love were going to win the Twitter vote against Gambit Gaming. 64% to 36%. A lot of faith in the Unicorns, considering their second place finish at IEM San Jose. Anyways, Nick versus Power of Evil. It's not something we've seen too much. Oh, we'll get to that in a second. Pinoy caught out, stunned up by Hylissang. This Leona play has been pretty solid so far. He's landed multiple Zenith Blades onto Pinoy, but nothing more comes from it other than the poke and the damage.
Yeah, the mid lane was fairly even in the start here, but then the ganks happened, and we know again Kassadin, he can farm well, but he doesn't really apply any pressure. So it's a very easy gank for Unicorns of Love to pull off and give Power Evil a lead he really wants here on this Syndrome. The late game damage is the same as before, so that's not exactly going to be the problem for him.
Good help by Kikis then to sort of compensate for the lack of early game damage. He's been very, very present on this Jarvan in the early game. Landed a good couple of ganks. Diamond was able to push him away, but it's not too bad at all.
And again, Diamond, focus on this top lane here, making sure Cabochard can never get ganked, and he can just constantly push this wave in. He's not even looking to dive or anything, he's just staying around, securing all the vision and safety.
Yeah, but it's at the cost of his CS. He's falling further and further behind Kikis, who is about to show himself in this bottom lane. Cataclysm is available. Let's see if Hylissang can land the Zenith Blade. That could be the go signal. Or we could see the Demacian standard into Dragon Strike. What will it be? Stunner's charged. Nothing hits, and Edward flashes away. That was very, very close indeed. Chilling Smite went down. Enough.
Good reaction time though by Eddie here, seeing the flag coming down and the engage from Hylissang instantly flashing away. Not taking any chances here in this bottom lane. It does mean, however, Annie is a very mobile support. So Kiki should come down to this bottom lane once again. Hylissang will hit his level 6 point and you just go for Edward straight away. Kill him, secure Dragon from there on.
Well, let's see if they can make that work. They do need to connect with their skill shots. Eddie, no flash, should make it significantly easier. Pinoy and Edward, 60 CS and 65 of Vardax and Hylissang. Zenith Blade goes wide. Anticipating Pinoy to back off just a second sooner. Didn't pay off, but pretty even numbers across most of the board. It's only Unicorns of Love with that first blood that's giving them the small gold advantage. gank attempt by Kickers means that Diamond has had some time to even out that CS, albeit it was only around 5 or 6 anyway, so it's not like it was a massive number to speak of.
Diamond once again going to the top lane. Will actually face Kickers up here. Actually, once again, playing so aggressive, trying to constantly force Vizichachi to actually trade with him. A trade that now will lose out on. And Diamond are going for the recall. Kickers just go straight back to this bottom lane, or send down Power of Evil if you want to. But for Eddie, he needs to die.
Well, we'll see. Solar Flare's available. Who's going to get connected with the CC? Power of Evil moving in from the sideline. Zenith Blade lands, the stun connects, Pinoy's in trouble. Boomerang Blade comes out, but the Tibbers is going to delay the proceedings. We do see a teleport coming out for Cabochon as he's replied. It's been support for AD carry. Second victim of the fight's going to be Cabochon as Eddie will be dove. That is a very, very messy 2 for 3. Let's see if Nick can clean up house. He rift walks over. He flashes past the stun. Ignites ticking. That should be Vardag's in trouble. Vardags does get taken out. And Gambit end up trading a 3 for 3 at the end of the day. And a tower dive from Unicorns of Love.
Yeah, and due to everyone dying here, no dragon can be taken or started by any team. Instead, though, we talked about the lack of flashes from the bottom lane of Gambit. They send down Power of Evil. Kickers was actually running all the way from top lane. We're just going to see it again. Gage onto Pino here. Edward is staying very far back, knowing there was going to be a dive. Pino ends up dying. Hiddleston goes down with him due to the tower, and a nice teleport from Capo shot. Vizichachi joining in. No Mega Narc. Too early in the game to really tank the tower here. And in the very end, because Vardax will take some damage, Nick can come in and start cleaning it up.
Well, a burst from Power of Evil down at the Cabochon was actually very surprising. Managing to pick up that kill relatively easy. It does end up being an even enough trade. 3 for 3, but Unicorns of Love are the ones that come out ahead. 1,000 gold in the advantage and a 3-0-1 Power of Evil in the mid lane.
Such a good start for him. Just straight into the mid game. Morel Normicon will be completed. He has magic penetration already. He can start one-shotting people. And honestly, he should just keep roaming around. Cassidy won't be able to stop him from roaming. So as long as he has the wards placed so he can see he doesn't face check someone like Diamond, he can go to the bottom lane, he can go to the top lane and just secure some more kills.
We'll see if he can continue to make those plays happen. Early Sorcerer's Boots that you highlighted, going to make that significantly easier to pull off. We do see Chachi, his first back, picked up that Hex Drinker. This is standard on all Nas. And Cabochon going for the similar Cassio build that we saw earlier. Tier into what's going to be the makings of that Rylai's.
Yeah, and that simply means we're going to hit this mid-game point now where Gambit needs time to scale up because you need your Rod of Ages fully stacked on the Cassidy. Cabochon in the top lane needs Tier stacked up, needs the Rylai's completed before we really start seeing the late game Cassio damage coming in. So Gambit now has the next 5-10 minutes where they basically just want to try and sit down back and farm, scale up on these two solo laners where Unicorns of Love, because Power of Evil also got so far ahead, can look for the plays.
As it looked like Kikis was hovering in that bottom lane, toying with the idea of trying to go on the bottom. Keep in mind, Eddie's flash is down for a few more seconds. Diamond again showing in this top lane, but the fact that he's been spotted by Vizichachi means that Unicorns of Love are going to start off this dragon, and this should be uncontested. It doesn't look like Pinoy or Edward are anywhere near.
No, I don't actually mind this trade for Gambit. Getting a global gold instead, so you scale up your champions faster instead of this very first dragon. They would have a very hard time contesting anyway, so I actually quite like the trade. Problem is, however, your mid lane is going down as well, and suddenly it turns into favor of Unicorns of Love.
Right, tower does get secured in the top. Unicorns do secure a tower of their own, so they get a dragon and a tower out of the deal. Unicorns maintain their control on the game, and they can train their position.
And getting that mid tower is so important because instantly you can just walk into Raptor camp, you can walk into the Wolves, place these deep wards here and see what Diamond is doing, or if someone like Eddie is roaming around from the bottom lane. So very, very good warning from Unicorns, knowing as soon as we take this tower down, inside the jungle, get some vision control, try and make some plays now, try and catch them out if Gambit is moving through their own jungle.
Well, take a look at this. Chachi's in trouble. He's committed to a fight. No hop available. Forced to flash. Next Trinket does pop, but that's a little bit of bait. Power of Evil's in place. Stun does not connect. And that means that Cabochon can get away cleanly. But Chachi had to flash there, trying to pick up some damage in Cabochon, but the support was around for Gambit.
He's been doing a good job actually just staying alive and picking up as much farm as he could, because Diamond has been sitting in his top lane the entire game long, doing nothing else, even picking up the skirmisher Saber here for better dueling as well on release. And just haven't really had a fight because every time Kiki showed himself and realized Diamond was there, he just backed away.
And the irony is, despite the fact that Diamond was in the top lane, he didn't really put pressure on the chat. Oh, that's a flash stun. Vardags is in trouble. Tibbers has come down. Spell shields up.
The
Collateral damage. Pinoy goes Pinoy and drops Vardags where he stands.
They had a ward on Hillesang and he was recalling as soon as he went back to base. Instant engage. Vardags had no flash. Nice little pickup here by Gambit, getting a very important kill as well.
Great timing from Eddie, really, to make that count. That evens out the kills, 4-4. There's only 300 gold separating these two teams. An Infinity Edge is completed for Pinoy on Graves. Got himself a CS advantage. Nick is even able to defend the pink ward for a few seconds longer.
So we mentioned Morello Nomicon on Syndra before, but seeing as he got all of these kills, he just went back, got a DFG completed. Again, Power of Evil, he really needs to try and find some picks here because he can one-shot close to everyone.
Let's see if he can. Warrior Enchantment completed for Diamond Prox on Lee Sin. Kikis has had the same for a little while. Rylai's completed for Cabo Shard. Already touched on the Eye Edge, the Rod of Ages, and the DFG. You take a look at the supports, fairly similar in terms of your Moby Boost and Spikes.
Oh, Eddie.
Eddie's been
There's
caught
no
out.
flash.
He's been knocked in the air. He's been stunned by Power of Evil. One more kill, going over to PoE.
Straight for the top end.
4-0-1. Cabo Shard teleporting safety.
Smart.
That's a massive, massive win. Another kill for Power of Evil and the cooldown from Cabo Shard. Massive advantage to the Unicorns.
Yeah, Gambit are trying to reply to the push from Unicorns Aloft by taking the mid lane here, but they have to push it all the way now. I don't think they've taken any damage from the laning phase, so Unicorns of Love can just keep pushing down. They're 4 members.
Well, let's see if they group themselves up. Pinoy's pushing on the bottom lane. It's 1 tower to 2. Gambit have got themselves a little bit closer to this top lane, trying to counter out the vision as best they can. They've got 3 of those sweepers in hand. The Unicorns are grouped up. Look at Diamond's positioning. He sniffs an opportunity. This is a 4-on-4. Neither AD carry is with their team.
Wisely enough, they're just backing away. A little bit too early to stay and really seize the tower here. You don't want to risk and engage under the enemy turret or close to it where you can't really get onto the right targets in the back line. But still a good play by Unicorns of Love. They know they're stronger at the moment. They know they have to press the advantage, and that's why they keep invading in the jungle, keep taking these outer turrets down. So
another game where the Unicorns have come out swinging. You don't see anything super fancy in terms of champion picks, but they're not executing the strategy.
A lot of people mid lane here. Nice stun.
That's a stun onto Nick. It's followed up by the Solar Flare. The Zenith Blade was too early. It was predictive, but it wasn't needed. Power of Evil with the DFG burst. Shreds down Nick. This is going to open up some damage onto this mid inner turret. Unicorns of Love continue to exert dominance on the map.
And landing a stun on a Castellan should never really be possible.
Diamond's knocked up. Hillesang sniffing. The Cataclysm goes down and Diamond is now dropped. They've turned their attention to Eddie, and the Boomerang Blade is shredding his HP bars. Unicorns of Love get the inner turret. They get another kill, and now they back away.
Yeah, but Gambit are just staying around here, getting hit by stuns and everything, and suddenly engaged on, and of course they end up dying for it. Straight down towards this bottom lane.
Pinoy's in trouble. The Zenith Blade doesn't connect, but the stun from Scatter the Weak does. Pinoy gets flung in the air and shut down by Vardag.
So Hillesang tried to predict the dash from Pinoy, and he just stopped in the bush instead. So some mind games going on here. Let's see Nick.
Okay,
stop the recalls at least.
Stop the recalls. That's a little bit of an awkward moment. Gonna put some damage down, but keep in mind, numbers advantage still in favor of Unicorns of Love. They got the bottom tower. They've got a 5k gold lead at 17 minutes.
But these two slow-scaling solo laners from Gambit are really getting punished here early on by Unicorns of Love. They have so much hard engage on their side. The mid laner is extremely fed at this point. And once again, I mean, Nick dying in that mid lane should never happen. When you see the ball flying towards you, just jump away in that castle and don't take the chance.
Well, he took the chance. It came back to bite him in the behind. Diamond Prox with the aid of Nick and Edward. And take some solace in the fact that they can steal away a blue buff. The question is, can the mythical Unicorns counter? Diamond's going to safeguard away to safety, luckily. And Hillesang was right on his tail. First Dragon went the way of the Lovers. Now it has respawned again. They seem to have position. Let's see if Gambit want to come in. This is risky.
They should
big
fight.
gold
No.
difference.
This is so risky for Gambit if they actually want to try. They're sneaking around here. Eddie needs to land a perfect tippers if they want to fight.
Well, Kikis has gone in. He's used that chilling smite on Diamond. That's a big stun! Chachi throws Nick against the wall. The first victim is Eddie. Eddie didn't even have tippers for the fight. Dragon is regenning in the background. 4 versus 5. Unicorns of Love off a little low on HP. Now
Nick's
Nick is knocked up. Cataclysm down
Gambit,
onto
what's
Diamond.
happening, man?
Syndra's got 2. Kabashad will be the next target as Hillisang shuts him down. Kabashad will get killed. Another dragon going the way of Unicorns of Love. Gambit, they like their dragons, but they shouldn't have forced that one.
No, not at all. You know you're so much weaker right now, and yet you try and fight. I stand by my point, by the way. Eddie needs to land a perfect tippers. He didn't have it. Just another reason not to fight in the first place for Gambit here, giving up more kills. Dragon as well to Unicorns of Love. Let's see it again. The entire Gambit team is also completely split up. This is Chachi with the engage. Edward instant dies. Doesn't have time to do anything. And now Unicorns of Love still very healthy, can re-engage. Nick, second time, Power of Evil lands a stun onto him and kills him.
Well, there's a reason that Power of Evil Syndra is famed. We said it in Picks and Bans how good he is at landing those stuns. Despite the fact that in 5.1, Syndra got a nerf to her laning damage and the fact that Scatter the Weak got some tweaks. Doesn't matter. He's still hitting them. He's still making them count. And against Kassadin, one of the most mobile champions.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so the lane matchup actually made a lot of sense from Power of Evil's side because Kassadin, while he won't really be able to deny him all the farm, he won't be able to kill the Syndra instead. But the first gank from Kikis just completely snowballed it in favor of Power of Evil. And then he went down bottom lane, picked up 2 more kills. And from there on and out, completing DFG very early. He's just been destroying Gambit. I mean, this guy, he's hyped up for a reason. And the EU mid laners are hyped up for a reason.
Hey, it's like you talked about this on Primetime League yesterday. How well is Power of Evil going to perform? Nick, one of the mid laners from 2014, that did perform well. That did have pretty good stats, despite being a little bit more utility-based. Unicorns are going to take an uncontested tower, and PoE making another big statement in the LCS.
Diamond is sitting mid lane right here. Just keep pushing in. Get your inhibitor here. Gambit's going to give it up and just try and trade for 2 towers in mid and top lane instead.
21 minutes. Let's see what Gambit can do. They finally decided to back away. Diamond's coming through the jungle. Unicorns of Love. They throw down the solar flare, but they get the inhibitor. Uncontested. Gambit making a ploy to get some gold. Let's see if they commit to the fight. This is going to be a very risky call. Diamond gets jumped on by Kikis. He instantly Dragon's Rages. Cataclysm goes down. First victim is going to be Diamond Prox. It's not over yet. Eddie's in the background. Tibbers is there and available. Decides not to use it just yet. We do see Unicorns of Love. They've got the numbers advantage. They continue to push down, but they got an inhibitor. 21 minutes, uncontested. Gambit couldn't pick a fight. Diamond 0-3-0. This skirmisher Saber Lee Sin is simply not having the impact that they wanted it to.
No, all that early pressure on the top lane didn't really pay off. Yes, okay, Kabashar was safe, but that was it. Like, Unicorns of Love knew where the Lee Sin was the entire game long. And just giving up your inhibitor 20 minutes in, if you can't even fight around your own base at that point, you are so far behind, it's insane. You try to just trade for some gold, not worth it at all, because inhibitors are just super minions, you can't clear them. It means Unicorns of Love can now start even putting focus on this weaker Baron.
The fight to pick for Gambit would have been the inhibitor turret and the inhibitor itself.
Not the dragon.
Not the dragon. Not the dragon, where they just get completely melted.
It is still the Gambit style, though.
It is. They always like dragons.
Extremely aggressive, and they will look for fights here. Pinoy looking for one himself.
A little bit of damage down. We do see Chachi's gone for the Frozen Mallet as his second item. Talk about wanting to snowball a lead. Let's see if he can make this one count. So Baron is available. 23 minutes. It's very tanky members of Unicorns. At least if Kikis jumps in front, maybe they can bait it. Maybe they don't even need to.
No, just such a good play here. You get the vision control around the Baron. They just need to put a pink ward actually in the pit itself to clear the last ward from Gambit. Meaning, if they ever send someone bot lane who can't even hold the Supermans by themselves, well, you can just go start Baron, or you can keep pushing top lane and mid lane and just rotate in the jungle between those 2 lanes and the Baron itself. So just a very, very smart play by Unicorns of Love, not waiting around, not letting Gambit scale up.
Hillisang just chilling in the side lanes, making sure that nobody can come from behind.
Tower?
Gambit know they can't fight. They're 10k gold down at 24 minutes. This sort of lead does not traditionally happen this quickly in the new season, because it's just so much more difficult to come by the gold. And look at this, they're on the inhibitor. They've caught Diamond. Diamond's going to get shut down in a moment. He is killed by Chachi, and Unicorns turn to the inhibitor turret. Oh, that's a great stun by Cabo Shot in conjunction with collateral damage. It might be too little. Let's see, find out. Chachi continues to get melted down as we see Pinoy is going to chase. Great engage from Cabo Shot. Gambit dig deep and they hold on.
That was the engage they needed here, catching Unicorns a little bit off guard after that actually killed Diamond. But Gambit, they probably have the worst, or one of the worst comps at actually getting to late game. Because again, you don't have any safe wave clear. Castellan, Casio, and Graves are all way too short range to stand there, and they can't really instant-clear the waves, meaning Unicorns Love can just keep pushing down. Onto Diamond first. He dies now. Let's look at Cabo Shot here. And it's engaged together with Edward coming in. Is it actually an ulti flash? It is. Beautiful. So he starts the animation from his ulti, and then he flashes after, so there's no reaction time for Unicorns of Love. Lands the CC. Visichachi ends up dying as well, and Hillesang in the very end. So this is what Gambit needs. Might be too late, though.
You definitely have to jump on Twitter and hashtag that stun from Cabo Shot as your LCS big play of the day, because that really was a great engage. If by some miracle Gambit can dig deep, that was the moment that'll bring them back, but it's so much ground to make up.
And look how early here Unicorns of Love have decided to get the Greater Vision Totem. Again, the new thing here in 5.1 is it's buff, shorter cooldown, cost less gold as well. So they have 2 ping wards now from Visichachi and Power of Evil at all times. So even if Gambit goes in, clears the one at Baron, you just have 2 extra ones you can put down, constantly keep the vision control and the pressure on Gambit side. So I really like the pickup here from them.
We'll see if they can make the vision work. You see, oh, that's the ultimate from Condax. He's going in. Chachi is going to throw the house. The solar flare comes down. Cabashard's locked up. He's going to block some of the burst, but this is messy. Cabashard's the first victim of the fight. Now Diamond Prox is being focused down. He's killed just after Pinoy, and Unicorns of Love, they go aggressive. Hillesang lands a Zenith Blade, but it's not going to be enough. There's still minions of the Nexus turrets. 3 members down for Gambit. Unicorns, they're on the Nexus turrets at 26 minutes. They're looking to close. They've caught Edward. He's knocked in the air. The Unicorns of Love are going to be riding high. They've got a Nexus turret down. They're taking out the second. And in 26 minutes, Unicorns of Love have obliterated Gambit. The hype train is with the love train.
Completely destroyed Gambit and their late game scaling comp here. Such a greedy comp from Gambit as well. We saw all the focus from Diamond on the top lane. Didn't pay off, nothing happened. And because there was so much hard engage, and there was the Syndra being so extremely strong from Power of Evil, Unicorns of Love just kept picking the fights. They got every single fight they wanted to. No chance of disengaging. Remember, as we talked about, it's only the Cassiopeia ulti as some sort of disengage from Gambit here. And Unicorns of Love just completely punished them for having such a slow comp.
9-0-5 from Power of Evil Syndra. But truthfully, it wasn't the Syndra that got them there. It was Syndra that closed. It was Kikis on
whole setup.
1-0-13. He was the one that helped set up the first blood. Kikis was all around the map.
And Hillesang on this Leona. We call him a one-trick pony, Hillesang on Thresh. This Leona play here, except for the one little thing into the laning phase where he didn't go aggressive enough, the rest was pure, was perfect. I mean, that was it. Every single time he had a chance to engage, he got in there. Jarvan obviously from Kikis followed in after getting that early kill for Power of Evil in the laning phase, as you just said. Those two together constantly started the fights. Power of Evil just had to follow up and pick up more kills.
Really, really good play from the Unicorns of Love. This was the grudge match to end day 1 to determine which off-season squad who gained hype, who gained support at the IEMs is going to come out ahead, and it's the Unicorns of Love. Massive smiles. Look at them celebrating on stage. And a lot of props has to be given to the guys. That was, of course, Sheepy, who is their coach.
Yeah.
Good call. I mean, nah.
For sure.
3 for 3 today. It has to be banned, or it has to be picked up early.
At least considered as such a good pick, because first 2 games wasn't banned, wasn't picked at all. Just seen it. How strong it actually is, even though Visichachi didn't have to do too much other than just sit back and not actually die in the laning phase. It was more about the rest of the lineup here, making all the plays. And I don't think Gambit will ever pick such a slow scaling comp again with the 2 solo laners who needed more and more time, who needed at least to 30 minutes before they could really start doing something. Especially not against a comp like a Unicorns of Love here.
No, definitely not. First pick Kassadin really did not work out. It did for SK, did not for Gambit this time round. And Lee Sin being played by Diamond, 0-5-0. He went for the skirmishes. It's not something we've ever seen, like you mentioned. And also, Diamond just seemed to be non-impactful. He really did not have any sort of presence in the game or any sort of control offered to the rest of his squad.
Yeah, so obviously, again, jungle item, a little bit unique from him. That didn't even matter because he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So he could have got whatever jungle item in the world. He kept walking top lane, sat there and said, Cabochard, you're safe, just do whatever. Oh, my bot lane's dying, mid lane just died. I'm going to go back to top lane and make sure Cabochard can farm. That was a wrong. Well, again, the plan from Gambit, it made sense on paper, getting Cabochard going and making sure he could just sit and farm and scale up. But because the rest of the team was so slow as well and just couldn't do anything, it didn't pay off.
No, definitely not. So, guys, we're going to send it to stage now where Pyrotech